Hey everyone, it's Jason. Welcome back to another Six Siege, the board game unboxing based off Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six Siege, of course. In this video, we're going to go over the 3 different mission or tile or map packs, however you want to call them, as well as we're going to look at our last alternate operator box. So we're going to do this one first, is we have 0. So you can get 0 in box number 5. Or year 5. This is the alternate one, which was during the Kickstarter campaign was, if you order during the campaign, you get this one for free. And I think it was available as an add-on for people that maybe would have came in later. So yeah, this is basically just an alternate version. We've seen them before. But let's go ahead and take a look at him. So here we have this. This is also what's cool, because I am not, I've never played any of this, Tom Clancy Rainbow Six games or any of them, so I didn't know anything about these. But the eye thing, I'm like, oh, that does look kind of familiar. This is literally, this is, Sam Fisher, himself, who I didn't know. I actually went and looked at, even on the website, it's lists his real name as Sam Fisher. Of course, from Splinter Cell, which I know Splinter Cell, so I'm like, oh, that's awesome. He's actually in here. I thought it was just supposed to be at first I thought it was like, oh, it's an alternate costume kind of saying that's who he is. Or that's what he's supposed to be, like a costume of him, but this is actually more like he's more or less it's the same exact miniature of his other one. It's not even a full alternate costume because he just puts his goggles on. But that's cool that they gave us this alternate version where he's more of his Splinter Cell version versus just being 0. So I did like that. That's pretty cool. Alright, so he is going to come within this little tiny box in case you see this and if you want to pick it up. Now, again, if you get box number 5, you've picked out previously, there's no direct reason to purchase this because you'll have the exact same stuff. He does get a couple of interesting things, though. He does get his own special Overwatch token with this picture on it. All the other alternates don't have one because they all come in a box with the other characters. With the exception of the runner-up box, because that was, again, anytime these guys came outside of a box where they didn't already have the duplicate, they did give them their thing. He does come with his 2 Argus Canon cameras, which we just read through this quick. It's just a reminder in case you didn't watch box 5. He has spending action as a throwable or a vertical. Place an Argus camera on one side of the section of a heavy wall in a targeted space. Whenever an opposing operator enters a space in a room containing an Argus camera or ends an action in one, they receive a located and sustain a yellow die for damage. So this is really cool because he's the only operator in the entire game for the attackers that gets a camera. Otherwise, it's always a defender thing. So this is kind of cool. So he can throw a camera up as well and utilize the mechanic of the defenders. And it's also cool because it's throwable, so you can go from 6 spaces away, or vertical, which means you can be upstairs and you can throw it down into a room onto any wall, which can basically mean he can be up in the upper floor, throw it down, and all of a sudden, boom! Now it's it's going to all of a sudden locate anybody in there, and they're going to take damage. So if there's a couple of defenders in one room, he can get up top, throw that in there, and all of a sudden they're going to be located and start taking damage unless they get out of that room. So that's pretty cool as well. So he also does come with a base ring, in case you didn't have it. I did not have the stickers on this. It does come with this sticker for his name on there, because I already have one for the other one, and none of the other alternates have a separate base, so I didn't make one for him. Now, the last thing I wanted to look at was just compare his card stats a little bit. So, in the original one, he still has 2 run, but he has a destroy of yellow. He gains a destroy in orange. So, in the alt, he gains a little bit better destroying. And then his stats are a little bit different. And this is the only thing that changes. The Argus camera stays the exact same. But his range, he gains 1 extra yellow die at close range. But he loses a yellow die, and a red die turns to orange in medium range, so he doesn't become as effective as long range. or medium range, and his long range, he gains an orange, or red instead of an orange, and loses an orange. So basically what happens here is ideally what it's supposed to be is that the alt version, the siphon filter version of him, becomes more of a close range. He's already sneaking up and he's behind you and he's going to get you. Where this one's kind of like, hey, he can hit more from like, sit back a little bit and take a little bit more time. So that's pretty cool. All right, so that's what we have for him. So that's really cool. In case you were looking at, if you see this pack, now you know what's in there, whether it's worth you picking up or not. Then let's look at our map packs. So there are 3 different ones. So we're going to look at, to start with, we're going to look at Concrete City. Now, I'm not going to sit here and go over every single individual thing of it, but we do have, this will add the bank and the cafe, as well as our different missions. So, you're going to get your mission guide, which is what we're holding right here, of course. The double-sided game boards, which we'll take a little bit closer look to see what they do. And then 6 new obstacle standees. So what's really fun about picking up these map packs is besides the fact that you're getting different locations to try out, because there's only really the three game modes. There's, bomb, hostage, and control. So it's nice to have different maps. You can do different layouts, because now you can play the same teams in different maps. And if you get these 3 packs, you could actually end up having, it's 4 different maps at double-sided. It's 8 different games you could play. So that's pretty cool. But I also love the obstacles, even though they don't do anything. Like, of themselves, a desk doesn't do anything different than metal desk versus a kitchen countertop, or a crate versus a table. They're just the size. It's neat to have the different things to kind of stylize your areas. So we have Moscow, Russia will be our first location we'll look at. Let me grab that. Actually, before I do that, let's just take a look at the miniatures here. I'm not going to undo all these right now, but it's kind of cool. We're going to get a little metal safe, a wooden crate. We're going to get a chair, a metal desk with some like sliding files storage in there, possibly a wooden desk, metal desk. I'm not really sure it's supposed to be with like a bookcase in there, and then just like a metal architect or office table. So we're gonna get 3 long desks and 3 small spots. But yeah, so you can replace these for different aesthetics for your game. All right, and our boards we're going to have to begin with. Now, I've said this in the other video. I said I really wish they had listed on the board which map was which, because, you're like, oh, I gotta flip over, and they gotta grab the mission guide. You have to look at which one it is. So this is Moscow, Russia, or Cafe. There's the actual name of it. Cafe Dostoevsky. And we'll have the bomb, which will tell you different places to place your stuff. Yellow things are some alternate areas you can place them. Then you'll get the hostage, again with some alternates. Plus, it also lists the forward planning modules and stuff. And then the control, which is like the starter one. Which, hey, you guys can put these specific characters here. And then, like, there's a layout you should use. So let's go ahead and take a look at that. Now, one big difference we're going to notice here is that this map is a little bit more closer and intimate than the previous one, which I actually think is a really cool feature. I'm going to grab the other one just 1 second. Alright, so I went and grabbed the original map just so you can kind of get an idea of how big it is. So here's the original map strip. They're kind of lined up at the end, because obviously the grids all have to be the same space. But then we actually have this extra full flap worth of tile. So it is like one of these sections smaller than the base game map. But it also brings everything in a little bit closer. You can kind of see how it looks a little bit more congested, because you don't have all this big outside space. It's like crammed in more versus being spread out long ways. So that's definitely a neat feature of it. I'm going to fold the original one back up just so I don't accidentally wreck it. But when they're all folded up, they'll be the exact same size. So that's very nice that they're different. Same there. Yeah, so this is our cafe. So we're going to get, zoom back up here a little bit so we can get a little bit closer look at some of this. So yeah, there's, on the outside, we have our blue entryways. Then we have like some windows on the outside here. Down this corner, but we have big giant rooms. But yeah, you can see we have some breachable walls here, but like kind of once you enter through this window or come in through the entryway, yeah, you gotta kind of go around. There are some breakable walls, of course, we can get through. Also, a couple other things to point out here, which is really cool. So like on the outside down here, we do just have like a straight entryway here. I mean, obviously they can put barricades there, but they can just, it's always neat when they have the ones where it's just regular doors instead of always having to find a way to break in or a breachable wall. But yeah, once you're on this half of the board, your way across is, coming through. You're going to have to either come through one of these rooms over here or come through around this way, or you can break through. But if you're noticing on some of these walls, yeah, they're all the same. And there's still, we do have some more breakable ones on the outside here too, so you can breach through the outside as well. Some nice big old open areas, obstacles to go around. The other thing you are going to notice is there's not as much, there are some furniture in here, but I don't think there's as much overall. I guess there is, now that I'm really looking at it. It's sometimes hard to see, there's so many different dots on here. But yeah, because we have some in the hallway, but we have like some like right in the middle of some of these areas. Especially like here, well, a bunch of little tables in here, which would just cause some, like you can get in, you can hide behind some of those. Yeah, just a little nice tighter functioning area that you can play in. Gives you something different to do. Again, another thematic, different theme, different things. So, your characters have different stuff to do. All right, let's flip to the other side. So this is also the same thing. Now, this one's actually spread out a bunch more. It takes up almost the entire outside. And this is our Los Angeles, California bank. So we do have that. So this is for the bank mission. So this is like where the safe and stuff will come in. Now, they actually do have some extra things in here as they're showing on the outside to have some like perimeter spaces in yellow. Just to kind of show, because this takes up a lot of the map. So it's also kind of interesting to note on here. That means there is less space for your characters to start at in something like this. So there's our hostage one. If we flip to the back, it does have our pre-made recruits and our lists and all that stuff. But yeah, let's take a little bit more closer look at this. So yeah, you gotta look for the greenish areas on the boards is where you can start. So the attackers can start over in this corner. There's a little corner up in the top up there, and then there's all of this space on the outside here. Now on this outside, we have a doorway they can just walk right in through. Just to note, there is nothing on there to, there's a spot to put barricades in there. There's spots there to put barricades. So they start blocking this off right away. And you're also going to have all these counters all the way across. So you can have someone hiding in here. Or even once they breach in through here, they have to climb over all this furniture. And then there's only either this doorway in here into this one, which then they're going to have to breach through this wall or go upstairs, come through this way, or break through this wall. So the operators coming from this corner, the attackers are going to have a little bit more of a hectic time. So definitely one thing to note is there's no way on the outside for them to get in. They have to get into the building first to then get to the upper floor. So that's going to be a big difference, change. All the other ones usually had something on the outside they could get to. But then now they can breach in. Then once they actually get into the bank, we have like the cash room back here, which has completely fortified off. The only way you're getting through is through this hole right there or through this way. But it's also cool is this. They have hold walls right here. So this is one of the features that came in one of the later sets. They're also right here as well. So these work like white wall protection, except you can see line of sight through them. So they're probably kind of like gates, I'm guessing, is what it's probably themed as. Or maybe already destroyed up walls. That's cool that they added these as features on some of the boards in various places, because then it's like, hey, it still works, but now you can get through there. Yeah, so if they come up from this corner, their only option is to break through here, and then they can either go up through the entryway, or they can start making their way down through this side or up through this way into the bank vault. But again, they're going to be a little bit harder for attackers to get into the bank, which makes sense. It's a bank, not a cafe or a clubhouse or like a villa or anything like that. So you're going to have a little bit more difficulty getting into this building, but once they do, they have a little bit more options on where to go with stuff, which is, I think, with the hold walls, I think is really cool. So yeah, then if we come around to this side, yeah, they got some bunch more open doors over here, but they do have some good breachable walls. Then the last kind of outside, they have like the parking lot, which they can start over here. But again, now you might be like, why don't they just start right here? That's going to be their closest spot. Because technically the defenders can start anywhere in here too, so you don't necessarily want them to, they might not want to start here and be overwatching this entire area and be able to see them. Of course, again, trying to overwatch this square is going to be very hard because it has to do with line of sight. So if they're standing like right here, they could probably technically, they might be able to get a guy here, but, attackers got to go first. So if they started here, they could probably just shoot that guy right away. They got to almost start down here, but then actually this breachable wall comes in, go up here, or they can come around. I like that there's one up here too. So yeah, you have some different options there, which is really cool. Yeah, very, very fun, interesting map. Different layout. Again, you got different stuff, a little bit more tight, intimate areas that you're trying to go through. All right, let's hop into map pack number 2. Let's fold this up properly so I don't break it in half. Pack number 2 is called the Deadlands. This is Oregon and the Chalet. So again, we're going to get our game boards, and we're going to get 6 more obstacles, which we'll take a look at. And we're going to go to Redmond, Oregon. So we're going to get our various things. This is going to be the same. We'll look at that. We got more perimeter locations, which is pretty fun. The hostage, of course. And then our controls. I'm just not going to get too much in each of those. I'm not trying to show them off. Like, you want these, buy them. Just I don't want to redo them, so you can just create your own. So this is actually kind of fun too. I love these different tiles. We have an explodable or a flammable box. We have another round table ammunition box. It's kind of cool. We have a different chair. I don't think we had any chairs in the base game. We get a sofa as well. And then we get a carpenter woodworker's table. So kind of a little bit more rustic stuff, but yeah, definitely cool. For what you're gonna have. I almost wish there was a way to buy more of these pieces, because it's like, it'd be neat to have like a building where you have a bunch of flammable boxes and then add like special rules, or add ammunition boxes. Maybe if you interact with the ammunition box, like you could do some interesting stuff with that. Just by making up your own custom rules, right? You interact with a safe box, maybe it gets you something. So here is this one. This is going to be another biggie. This is another 6 board tile. And which side am I looking at first? I want to look at Oregon first. That is this one. Yeah, so this is going to be big like the base game. So I like the fact that they have like a couple of 2 big ones and 2 small ones. Get you some different kind of size maps made for gameplay as well too. Still 6 rounds, but if you want to be a little bit tight quicker, pick one of the smaller boards. You want a little bit more space, you're going to get some stuff. But this is, again, going to have that perimeter on the outside showing up in the way far corner up there, which is kind of lit up. Let's see if we can zoom in on that a little bit. Yeah, so kind of where it's just kind of bright around that L corner. Then if we come over to this side, we have all of this area here where it looks like there's lights on. You just see it's all dark over there. We have another bunch of spots around that outside edge there. And we have some more down in this further corner, which I can't really get to with the camera right now. Let me zoom back out a bit. But again, I'm looking at this one like the last ones are at the bank. There is no entryways on the outside. So you have to navigate into the building first to be able to do anything. So let's take a little bit closer look at some of this. So do what I can here. So yeah, we can come in from this outside here. Now this is open right here, so this is a little bit different. Although they have to start here, there's no building right here, so they can come straight into here. There's no blockable walls they can put up. But again, you could have guys defenders hiding in different places over here. But this is neat because it's actually almost like 2 separate little buildings. So you got a little garage over here. With some breachable walls here. You can come in through this one, break through this way, and go up into the upstairs, and then kind of like, apparently your garage here is connected to your regular rest of the house over there through an upstairs. Be interesting to see that. But yeah, otherwise you run out this way. There's a doorway there you can put down. But yeah, then you can come around this way. Otherwise, this is, once you get on this part right here, other than going upstairs, that's the only way into this room from this side of the map. Which again, could make this very interesting. There's no breachable walls here, so either the attacker's coming from this side, or they're going to have to use this doorway, or going to have to use one of the various entryways. So that's a significant difference from some of the other maps. And then when we get into here, yeah, you kind of get into this little area. You can run back around here and get to this entryway if you like. Breachable walls to get into this direction. Break through this way if you want to try. Like, as soon as you get in here, you're probably going to want to get one way or the other. But your options are breaching that way or trying to run quick one direction or the other. And depending on what they have, might be, in your way, And they could usually have these areas overwatched very, very quickly from vertical. Let's look at this bottom corner. I'm going to try and flip the map around. So if we look at this bottom corner area down here, we got a bunch of different little tinier rooms that you can get into and access. Now, the attackers can there we go. They can start out here on the outside here, so you got a couple of options there. But again, this is very limited to get into the building. There is a spot right here, and then there is a spot right here. So if they're coming from the outside, they either have to come down this hallway, which should be very, very risky for them because they have to get up to here to either breach through this wall or run through one of these or run down. Or the same thing here, they could get into here and they could go up. Yeah, very limited access to get into the building, which is going to make for a very strategic defender setup versus also like how the attackers want to go about doing stuff. And depending on where you have stuff, like, right, if you have the bomb somewhere in the middle here or the hostage it gets put in the middle, it's going to make it very difficult. But even if you put like one over in this room, right, the only way to get into this room for the attackers is, right, they're going to have to either drop down through here, break through this wall, or run in through one of these other exits. And they could easily just put a wall here, right? And that's going to make it harder for everyone to get in there because they have to try and get into that one little room. Hostage would be even worse because then now you have to try and get him out. But then again, it's also kind of these things is where there's not a big central location. If you have the hostage towards the outside, they only have to pull them out like this, right? Versus having if you had them way over here and you have to pull them through all these different rooms. So it's kind of also interesting. And then we do have extra spot over here where guys can start. They can only break through this window. So very limited access to this building for the starters. They can come over from this side, though. They can come onto this deck, kind of like that garage floor area over here, which is all open. And then you can break through all these different windows. So they have most of their access probably like right here is the easiest way because they have several different points to get in. They can break through there. Well, that also means if you start, you don't want to put all your attackers here. You put all 5 guys here, they're just going to like, oh. Again, the defenders can set up first, so they can block a bunch of this. Not leave too many different areas open. But yeah, very cool map. I like the different aesthetics on it. Let's flip her over and look at the other big side. Oh, which this one is the chalet. So the chalet is, more specifically, in Coravechel, France. So we got a steel lodge. Again, they have these interesting perimeters around the outside, which is, I find very cool because the base game was just like anywhere. Start wherever on the outside, and then these ones are like, there's specific spots you can start. This one actually gets you a pretty good outside, like all the way around. And there's one little corner over here. So that's actually pretty fun. Yeah, then we have our different hostage situation. Do a couple different spots to put those. Then you can always make up your own as you go along. And I think all of these, they're always going to be using the base game characters. So obviously, it's, that's your setup if you're playing as the base game. All right, so let's hop into this. Let's first of all look over at this corner. So we do have these 4 spots you can start over here. But we get some entryways on the outside again. We're getting back into those. Otherwise, we have a window. So only the 2 different ways to get into there. But this would get you access to a lot of the other rooms. This is a little bit more spaced out again, like the base game maps are. Yeah, once you even get into here, this is kind of fun. Like, wall you can kind of hide behind, maybe sneak through. But yeah, if they block off these 2, then you have to decide, do you break through these, or do you come through one of these wallways, or do you come through this way, and then wall this way, or wall this way. They got some different stuff set up. Different setup for how you can do it, right? And then on the outside here, we have another entryway over there. Plus, now you can go all the way up and around like that. So you have big open area all the way on the outside. If they miss this doorway, there's a quick way to get in. So depending on where they put their different breaches in. But even here, this kind of gets a little clustered up in here, right? You got this room, this room, this room. They're all leading to this one kind of area here, into these 2, into this. And then it spreads out more as the rest of the map kind of goes. And there's no reason a defender can't go outside of the building. They just can't go out into these areas, I believe. And I guess they probably could, but then I'm not really sure why they would exactly. Let's flip this around a bit, and we can look at some of the other side. All right, so if we look up at this corner here, we're going to get the outside to start up. Now, yeah, there is just a regular entryway up there, so one of the defenders could pop out on that one and then come in behind the attackers from this side. Some good barricade pillars out there on this, like, porch type area, which is really fun. Got some chairs that go with our chairs that we have. I like that it's a love seat and a sofa, and then we don't have a double piece like that. We just have one big sofa that would cover all of that. But yeah, that's kind of cool. Then we get some different areas in there. And over here we have if you come in from this side, you can, get into the stairwell here and then go up the down stairwell, yet you go up with it. It's kind of interesting. Or breachable wall right there too. That's kind of cool. You got this big hallway you could run up and down. And then like the pool table. with another staircase. Get into here, some other little areas. This, again, could be very interesting because depending on where your bombs are or your hostages are, like, obviously stuff should probably be somewhere towards the middle. Could be interesting, like, trying to get a hostage out from some of these areas. Like, obviously, if you're in this little area over here and you put, like, a hostage in this spot, that's going to be very, not super tricky, but, like, you got to go this way. Otherwise, you have to navigate fairly a decent amount to get out, because on the next exit point's over here, which you could go through there, but there's a table, and you could, you know, they obviously always have ways to get through stuff. They can't just, like, block everything off, but that's pretty fun. Also, not just even looking at just the bomb and the hostage, also think about some of these areas on these maps for the control. So, like, if you're, because you have to, like, control, you have to be on point 1 versus point 2 versus point 3 on each round, and you have to take control of them rooms. So some of these you have various little hallways and stuff you have to navigate. There's not a lot of big, giant, open areas. There's a couple in here, like this one over here. This big one room up here, but others, lots of these are little tiny rooms. So you're going to have to, like, all it would take is someone to be watching one of those doorways, and you have to almost go all the way around. Otherwise, you could be overwatched into a spot. All right, so that is our chalet. That's our second map. Let's hop into the third one. The third one is called Sand and Dust. Now, this is one that was added into the Kickstarter as a freebie for, like, the delays and stuff like that. So, again, I'm not going into that at all, as it's not part of this. So I don't know, like, the other two, you might be able to, depending on how people purchase them, they might have came, they might be able to have them separately, because you could purchase one or the other, or they may have just been a pack. So that came packaged, wrapped individually. This one was only added on later on. So this, again, might be one of the ones that might be a little bit more rare, just because it should have been in every single pledge, but, you know, I'm not sure how it necessarily goes in, because you couldn't add extras of them, so no one could potentially have bought multiple. People could have bought multiple map packs. Yeah, this is a coastline and border. So again, give us a double-sided board, 6 more obstacles, and we're gonna start with Ibiza, Spain, the coastland. Yes, this is a perimeter all the way around. Again, so this looks back more like that. Example. Decorative features not treated as partition and do not block line of sight. That's kind of cool. They just added that in there. Yes, we'll have a couple of those different ones. Let's grab our thing. So, yeah, we get the same token pack as we got in the last one, which, again, I'm not even going to necessarily... I'm not going to terribly complain about, because I did, like, again, having the ammo box and the extra flammable box and the sofa, some neat features. I do wish almost it was, like, a mixture of some stuff from, like, each different one, because there are some things that'd be cool to have more of if it wasn't going to be his own original one. But I think it was just, this is a last-minute kind of, like, add-on they threw in, and they already had these tiles done. And again, for the outside of, like, the aesthetic look of it, it doesn't mean anything. So which one was the coastline? Whoa. Nope, I think this is the border. Coastline is the other side. Yes, here's coastline. So we're going to get another small map. So if you get all 4, you have 2 small maps, 2 big maps. But yeah, this is kind of a nice little small cozy map. Looks, I just looking at this really quick, I'm like, this looks like the clue board to me. Just has a very quick objective, you know, like, oh, there's this blue room, and there's the conservatory, and then the billiard room, and yeah, 6 Siege Clue Edition. That's the next game coming out. Don't quote me on that. That would be crazy, though, right? You have to kill who killed Mr. Body. Yeah, so there's going to be a lot of different stuff to kind of unpack in this one. So, yeah, we can start anywhere on the outside. We do have a couple of entryways up on the top here, but otherwise you can come in. We do have stairway in here. You can run all the way down here if you like to get to this one instead. We have some breachable walls to get into here. So this room is kind of tight. There's little hallways in here, though. I like these little hallways. Are kind of fun to me. Yeah, just breachable walls. So even though I have a big open area here, you can come through two of the sides, break through the other two. Otherwise, you have a little hallway to go in through here. Tiny little, bunch of tiny little rooms, right? This is going to be very tricky because it's like, you have bigger rooms, you have kind of like possibly a more way of like overwatch it or maybe seeing different stuff. But like all of these are little tiny areas. So you gotta worry about maybe getting ganged up on from multiple sides, depending either whether you're attacker or defender. Just yeah, you get into like you're hanging out in this room and you're watching, like you're standing here. You can't really because it goes 180 degrees and you can only overwatch what you can see. So you can't see some of these longer hallways completely, especially like this. You're like, is it worth watching this tiny area? Or, do you want to watch the bigger room? But if you're watching, like, this room this way, yeah, you can see all this. But they have two extra little hallways. They come around this hallway if you're standing there. You lose some of your cover if you're high. Yeah, it's just some very interesting stuff. I can see leaning being very good in this map just because of all these hallways. You can, like, stand here and lean around the corner here or lean around that way. Could be some interesting stuff there. I do wish they had more stuff with, like, them hold walls. Like, they did that. I wish they had more environmental or other things you could interact with, like, right off the bat. I know you don't want to put too much into a game, but that'd definitely be neat. Yeah, then we have this bathroom over here that apparently has just a door to the outside that's not even a window. My brain says this should be a window because it's a bathroom. But I don't make the game. A little breachable wall there. Sofa room. Stairway down into here. This is kind of interesting here, right? You have this breachable wall right here. Is it worth spending an action to destroy this versus moving all the way around? I don't know. Sometimes I see that kind of stuff. I'm not sure. Like this makes sense. Breaking here. This one I can see like maybe destroy this and you can shoot into that room. I'm not always sure about something like that. Seems a little interesting. But then on this side we have some more things on the top. You can come in through on that side there if you'd like. Otherwise you can break through windows here. We have some more open doors. This kind of, I feel like this was like base game 2 map. Like, right, you have the big base game map, which has start anywhere, decent entryways all over the place. Some open doors, some windows, some red walls like we have over here. But yeah, this feels like this is like the base game map, like for smaller. All right, so we're gonna flip to the other side and take a look at this. This looks, yeah, again, very cluish. Is we have the border, which is just the Middle East, not specified to what part of the Middle East, but just the Middle East. It's just showing like these docks and stuff on the outside are not considered to be part of the game. But yeah, this again kind of like has a border all the way around, except for right here. It says one little spot right on that side. It doesn't have it. So if I flip the board to match that. Yeah, so it's showing right here as we have this tunnel here. You can't go from this way to this way. You can't go around. Otherwise, you can start anywhere else. But if we take focus on this corner to start with, zoom up just a little bit. Yeah, you can entryway here, or defenders can entryway there again. Breachable wall. So now this kind of makes sense, I guess, a little bit. Like you're trying to rush through. like from this direction, I guess I could see breaking through here, breaking through that to go right to there, or dropping down and breaking through this. Like drop down, destroy action, and if this is already destroyed, maybe shoot through there. I guess that kind of makes sense, rather than running around and then we run back up. This other one seemed a little odd. But yeah, so we have a bunch of entryways into this building. Down here, we have some outside blocking walls. Oh, there's this big, giant, long path here. With a little bit of barricades on the outside. Otherwise, it's like this outside border here. With some windows in between. There are some hold walls. We are getting some of those back in, so I do love that. It's a neat idea that you have. It's kind of nice that it's not just relegated to like 2 or 3 different operators. But yeah, this is kind of an interesting map as well, because you kind of got like a perimeter all the way around you can go through, but then once you get in, you have like these long hallways on this side. But then you get some bigger open rooms. The bathroom stalls are kind of fun. That'd be very funny to have one of your defenders hiding in have one in each stall. Ooh, which stall are they in? And then, the guys would have to like check each one and play a little shell game. I always love some of the decor on here too. The details on the board are very good. Yeah, so these posts don't do anything, so you can walk freely through those. But yeah, we can get into this side over here. Again, we can come all the way around the outside. This side, we only have entryways on the top here. We only have the 2 different windows. But you have a couple little rooms in here. You can barricade some of these off. Damn, this is a fun little room here. You can shoot out of it or shoot into it. Then we have a little stairwell here you have to run around. This corner down here, fairly open. Shootable wall. But again, you can hide stuff in here, but then we have a breachable wall down here. And then we got the last corner here. Just going to kind of... So yeah, just very fun little... tight little map. Again, I think this is kind of like... If the other side's sort of like a smaller starter, this is kind of like a smaller advance. We have some open holes, some bigger areas to hide in. We have them hold walls, which are kind of fun. Just some different things. Plus, also, we have so many different areas, and only get X number of cameras to start with. You really have to decide, based on where the objective is, whether it's the bomb or the hostage. And remember, the hostage, you get 2 decoy tokens, so it's like, you don't want to put one here and then put all your cameras in this room and like this, and then put the other guy way over here, because you could bluff them, and they think all the ones with the cameras are watching the regular one. But, you kind of got to play that mental game there. But that's really cool. All right, so that's what we have for our missions and our boards and the Zero Alt. Hope you guys are enjoying the video. If you haven't, for some reason, checked out the previous unboxings, definitely go back and check them out. If you've been following these along in order, the last one we have left to go through is going to be the extra accessories and storage box. Hope to see you guys there. Bye.